Jurk and Turk of the Week playoff edition, Ben.
I didn't. I feel
prepare.
foolish for not thinking about this. So, do you have one? Go
I
ahead.
do not. I did
I
not
have a
prepare
Turk
for
of
it
the
either.
Week playoff edition, and Mike Munchak, in a way.
Yeah, sure. I like that.
Fired by Tennessee.
Well, fired by Tennessee
But on
principle. He said he wanted to keep his assistants there. He thought they had something going, and if you don't want to keep them, it's up to you. You don't have to keep my assistants, but I'm not going to take the job without the same people.
So he's your Turk of the Week.
He's my Turk of the Week.
I'm going to give
Very
a Jerk
cool.
of the Week, which it needs some degree of explanation, because I'm going to give the Jerk of the Week to Mike McCoy for a couple of reasons.
Oh, interesting.
I thought some play calling was truly atrocious at critical moments of the game. As it turned out, it worked out, didn't matter. It's the NFL. It doesn't. Many games don't come down to one play. That was a game that did not come down to one play. Their inability to handle the short yardage situations where he kept handing the ball 3 straight times to running backs when they needed that.
They could have used Mike Tolbert.
And it turned out that the Week 17 call, which we gave him such great credit for when Eric Weddle plunged ahead, he didn't call it at all.
Eric Weddle did.
Weddle called it all by himself. Now, the thing that Norv Turner, in my world, would never have done was give Eric put the play in the playbook, and then say to Weddle, if you see it, do it.
Yeah.
Right. So he gets some credit for that, but he didn't call it all. He was screaming at the special teams coach because when he thought Weddle fumbled. So, and then this very tepid, I'm prepared to lose this game play calling. I mean, a couple of moments against the Bengals when it was still just 20-10, where a first down would almost have ended the game, and they were unwilling to do it. They were so scared. As it turned out, didn't matter. The Bengals were not going to come back and be in a position to win that game.
Yeah.
So we gave him so much credit last week for a thing that turned out he did not quite deserve the credit for.
My Jerk of the Week goes to the Jerk of the Week, obviously given in its own context, in its own world. I don't think the guy's a jerk, but Nick Foles. I think that it was a close football game. There were times where he just held on to the ball too long. I can think of 3 right now. There were probably 5 or 6.
Can you give us 3?
3 times. Well, I mean, there were. I don't remember the exact down situation. I know that there was a 2nd or 3rd and 10 where he just went back and he didn't throw it out of bounds, and that happened twice almost within 2 drives.
They were at the 15-yard line. They ended up punting from like the 38-yard
exactly
line.
Well, there was a penalty there too.
I don't think so.
There was one penalty that they took.
Maybe, okay, but I mean, he took that sack from the 25 to almost like the 38-yard line. And look, again, doesn't come down to one play. They lost the game by 2 points. You know what would have helped? A field goal.
A field goal might have erased that 2-point deficit. So, anyway, that would be my vote.
Somebody should probably give it to Andy Dalton.
My Jerk of the Week is, I was going to say Andy Dalton, but I have 2 Jerks of the Week. Andy Dalton for putting his team in a position to lose, obviously, when the defense really did not play bad at all, the Cincinnati defense. And also Andy Reid for poor clock management. And which
was
goes,
always which every Eagle fan will tell you drove them mad for the decade that he was there.
But my Turk of the Week, amazingly, I'm going to give to, as I wipe the brown off my nose, Ben Mankiewicz. For the sole reason, yeah, it's the only time you'll get it. For the sole reason that he has shifted my thinking tremendously into no, punt it. Just like, try to force them into a tough situation on their own 1 or their own 5. But now I'm slowly seeing, as the game is totally changing before our eyes, just go for it. Just go for it. You're on the 40-yard line. You're on the the 43-yard line. It's a 4th and 2. Offenses are good. Just go for it.
The announcers always say, you want to punt and trust your defense. And I think it's the exact opposite. Go for it. Trust your defense. So
Plus with the talent.
If you don't make it, you're saying to your defense, I trust you so much, you're going to bail me out of this thing that just went wrong.
Yeah, but with the talent that every team has, like the Bengals have so many options on offense. The Chargers have so many options on offense. There's so many good players offensively and talented players offensively. Use that talent. Have some confidence and go
Colin
for it.
Kaepernick throwing to Michael Crabtree for 31 yards on 4th and 6.
Right. When it's when it's 4th and 6, most of the time under my world of don't punt, I'd punt. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah,
right.
No, I know.
But depending on where you are, if you're around
Every
the 40,
situation
then
is different,
I'd probably keep it. And again, depends on what kind of game it is. If it's a defensive struggle, then maybe I would punt. If you're dominating on defense, but like. when you need 3 yards, like there are stats. Most of the time, if you have a good quarterback and good receivers, you get 3 yards.
Yeah.
So why on earth wouldn't you go for it? And it is, when you think about it, if you're given 4 downs, you usually only use 3 of them.
Right.
It's a 33% increase in plays. Use it. It'll
Yes.
work out for you more
And
than
plus,
not.
if you have the
there's-
lead late in the fourth quarter, you take off so much time
you
off
can
the
just
clock.
ram it down somebody's throat. So I'm going to come back now with the. Well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. I'm glad. And I think, as we've said, there is a building consensus that this is a new way to
Yes.
approach.
By the way, one more just quick Turk of the week, Michael Vick.
For being.
For not being, for not it.
Like being a great teammate.
Well, for being a great, but for it not being his fault and maybe Andy Reid's fault the whole time.
Oh my God.
It's like vindication.
Yeah, that's true.
Well played, Michael.
I have 2 candidates for a Turk of the Week. I will give it because I think it's a little more interesting to the second guy. But my first nominee is Andrew Luck, just for leading that comeback and not the way you said it. Like announcers overstate it, fans overstate it, because fans feel the emotion more than the players who are in this situation, and they're professionals and they've been in it before. That said, you can get beaten, and you can see when teams feel beaten and they lose that drive to be excellent enough. And the Colts didn't, and they kept it together, and they led that comeback, and they believed they could do it. And that gets overstated, but here I think it definitely applies. And then just for the absolute greatness of picking up that fumble and running it in. Of turning catastrophe season over.
What a huge play.
I mean,
what a huge play.
And not just, by the way, grabbing that ball and going down and keeping it.
Right.
Going
I
for
think I can grab this and score.
Make
I'm going
points.
to go ahead and score. So that was great. But I'm going to give it to Rob Ryan, because the Saints defense, which was such a joke, and goes into Philadelphia, which puts up 450 yards in every single game.
Who was the coordinator pre-Rob Ryan, by the way?
In New Orleans?
Do we remember?
I'll tell you who
There was
it
that
was.
Greg
No, it
Williams
was
guy.
Spagnuolo.
Spagnuolo, right.
Spagnuolo.
And so Rob Ryan, he would have helped the Cowboys this year, Rob Ryan. If only the Cowboys could have had
They should have,
If only they could have managed to
I don't
win.
think you can sign a coordinator. You have to be a promotion or something.
Yeah, I don't know how they could have gotten him.
Yeah.
You're saying Monty Kiffin didn't get it done for you guys?
So to have that the Saints did struggle on offense. They did struggle, not completely, but they won that game because they contained the Eagles for most of the game. And in fact, if Lewis doesn't get hurt, then a good chance DeSean Jackson doesn't come alive, and when they took that 27 lead, it would have turned into a 27-17 win, and it wouldn't even have been interesting at the end.
That's a good point.
So he did a great job, and he's a great, great coach. And
Personal Turk of the Week, Alex Smith for me also, I want to add.
This is
rooted for him for a long time. I like Alex Smith. He had a great game.
He did.
So.